Hi everyone, welcome in. Welcome to episode 10 of Emboss or Toss. And this one I am calling Mission Imbossible because I'm going to be tackling some big ass books in this video. And I've got my trusty embosser as well. So yep, the whole shtick of this series is that I will emboss the book if I like it, and I will toss the book if I don't like it. And, oh my god, I just saw the one that I want to read. I just saw the one I really want to read the most. I've just saw the one that I want to read the most. I could not get that out there. The Red Winter by Sullivan. I'm essentially basing this vlog, this Emboss or Toss episode around this book. So this book is over 500 pages. And I think that counts as a big book. I don't know what you would count as a big book, but a big book to me is over 500 pages. Unfortunately, this just fits in. So I definitely want to read this in this vlog. And I've been absolutely dying to read it. Like, this is like top of my priority list at the minute. So many good reviews, so many things about it that just sounds right up my street. I will let you know all about it as well when I start getting into it. But I just want to build my TBR in this introduction, which is a little bit all over the place, I'm not gonna lie. I just decided to set the camera up and hit record. Though I did already have like quite a lot of books that I wanted to read, that I knew I wanted to read for this. But another one is Bound by Sable Sorensen. And I did get the sequel from Fairy Loot, but I want to make sure that I enjoy this, I don't just want to get a sequel and not even attempt the first book. And this has looked so good. And shall we do like a total page countdown? Actually, I might pick like maybe about 4 books in this, and I might add another book on during this vlog if I feel like I have enough time and I want to. In fact, I've given myself enough time. I've already filmed the video I need to get out this week. I don't need to post this one for like another week on top of that. So I've given myself plenty of time to do this without rushing. So this book is 570 pages without all of the acknowledgements and things. Gavin, write that down. The Red Winter specifically is 531 pages. I was very tempted to do like a dungeon crawler call book in this, but I don't think there's very many stakes when it's a series I know I'm going to love. I know I'm going to emboss it, So I'm just taking the books that are either first book in a series or standalones. So yeah, of course, King's Sorrow by Joe Hill. This is my 26 books to read in 2026. And this is definitely, I think, the biggest book that I'll read this week. 877 pages, this one. Should we try and get bigger? Should we? Return the floor into a zoo, ooh, ooh. And then the final book that I'm just going to say in the introduction that I'm going to definitely get to in this video is The Book of Fallen Leaves by A.S. Tamaki. This one came in a Fairy Loot Epic Fantasy, and I am trying to be good with my subscription boxes, making sure that I read those books. And this one is 583 pages long. So I'm not 100% sure what that tally is off the top of my head, but I'll have it on the screen. And we're going to chip away at that page count throughout the next week and a half to 2 weeks. And once I've gotten all of my housework done that I need to get done today because it's looking like a shithole again, I will be starting with The Red Winter by Sullivan. So please do like this video if you enjoy, subscribe if you haven't already, and it's time to begin Mission Imbossible. I am about to head into town so that I can get my hair cut because it is my birthday in a couple of days and it is Steph's hen do this weekend. So I want to look fresh. I want to look all nice for it. So this is the before, very messy, needs a little bit of a tidying up, a little bit of shortening. But I will show you the end result when we get back home. The pregnancy pillow is downstairs, which means one thing and one thing only. I'm about to get comfy and start my first book for this vlog. I've also made myself a decaf coffee because it is currently 3:30 p.m. and it's maybe a little bit too late to have a full strength coffee. So The Red Winter, it is about the Beast of Gévaudan, and I have never read anything about the Beast of Gévaudan. I don't even really know anything about it. It does just say it's the tale of the first werewolf. Like a bloody, devastating retelling of the Beast of Gévaudan. So I do think this is a fictional book tied into historical, and maybe Cameron Sullivan's take on the folktale, the urban legend of the beast. Yeah, it's set in 1785. There is a professor called Sebastian, and he has received news that the Beast of Gévaudan has returned. 20 years before, Sebastian had been on this kind of hunt for the Beast of Gévaudan, and he encountered the beast 20 years before the start of the story, and now he's recalled to the hunt. I have been so excited to read this. I have been doing other videos in the meantime, knowing that this one would finally come up. I'm just in a big book mood, and I'm in a fantasy mood as well. I recently finished Theodora's Tea Shop, which I absolutely blasted through, and that really got me back into my fantasy right now. And yeah, I love the fact that there's a map in this, and this is the Waterstones edition. So, let's do it. I have sprints today, so that's going to be nice and chill. Oh, and my hair has been cut now. It's been cut. So now it should be a lot more tidy, a lot more neat. It is shorter. It should hopefully last me a little bit longer than the last time I got a cut. I usually wait around about 2 to 3 months before I get my hair cut. So only 5 weeks, like just over a month since I last got a cut, is wild. This is the quickest I've had a cut. Asha just made it to page 2. I've literally just opened the book. Will you not let me just read in peace for just a second? Huh. 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 I've literally just sat down for chapter 1, Tobu. Like, what do you want? What do you actually want? My embossing senses are tingling with this one. They really are. I've gotten 107 pages in, finished part 1, I'm now on part 2. I'm loving it. I'm genuinely loving it. I loved it from the first chapter, in all honesty. I wasn't 100% sure that this would have such a vast magic world in it. And like, I'm so intrigued by the main character. Oh my god, Sebastian. Freaking love him. I actually do. Okay, I love anything to do with ghosts. And the very first chapter had a lot to do with a ghost. And I genuinely didn't think that's what this story was. I thought this was going to be historical. You know, added fantasy, of course, because the Beast of Gévaudan, like first werewolf and stuff. I mean, maybe werewolves do exist. I mean, I can't say that they definitely don't. But I thought that this would just be a lot more like... I genuinely don't know what I was expecting, to be quite honest. But after this first chapter, it sets the tone in a totally different way than I expected. And now that I am over 100 pages in, it's the tone I like. It's the tone I want. Like, I'm trying to figure out all like the creatures and things and stuff like that. But like, I'm loving Saw I might have to listen to some of the audiobook as well once I've like really settled down today. Because I do want to get like some of the pronunciations correct. And the humor as well, I wasn't expecting for a story set in the 1700s. And it's just, it's so good. It's so well done. The story also has footnotes as well, which can be very hit or miss for me. I've read a few stories now where I haven't been really taken by a lot of the footnotes, but no, this one, I genuinely don't mind as much because a lot of it does like add a little bit more context, and also there's a lot of character moments within these footnotes as well, so I get a little bit more of like personality in them, or maybe just a joke. I literally just underlined this one with haha. Oh my god, it's so funny. There are succubi, there are ghosts, there are like this beast, the Beast of Gévaudan, and I've never bloody heard of that before now. Although actually someone did say during sprints yesterday that the Beast of Gévaudan is in Teen Wolf, and I used to love Teen Wolf. I think I only watched the first 4 seasons, and I think they said, oh, it wasn't until like season 5, so I was like, oh well, I was clocked out by then. So this is my introduction into that, and honestly, I'm so glad. I'm so glad it is. This might not be like the most accurate depiction of this folktale or anything. I don't care. I'm just honestly loving the story, loving the plot. Oh, I should have known. I should have known. It even says it in the blurb. Oh, see, this is why I don't really pay that much attention to blurbs. But yeah, this isn't a spoiler, but this is gay. This is gay. And I freaking love that. As soon as I realized that, I was like, oh my God. And I literally just seen there that it's actually in the summary about an estranged lover. And, oh, like, I'm kicking myself. I'm kicking myself. But I was so pleasantly surprised. I was like, ooh, because the main character says something. And, like, it isn't one of those, like, outwardly, like, oh, this is definitely 100% homosexual. But it was just a little bit like, oh, hang on. My homosexual tingles or tingling. No. My homosexual sense. My homosexual senses are tingling. That's what I was trying to say. But it caught my attention. It did. Although actually I did put bi, question mark. Could be bi. There's still a chance that there is like bisexual representation in this. But there was like a specific homoerotic recalling of something. And I was like, oh, clutching my pearls. So we are having Sebastian, you know, he's been recalled to help deal with this beast in the present day. And then 20 years before, there has been a couple of chapters set 20 years before when the beast was first roaming and there was like a problem. But there is, like, it was so hard to read. And just like a heads up, there is very gnarly animal death. And I do think it is relevant to the story. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of like animal deaths in books. It does break my heart. But when it's like relevant to the story, it's like, it's still painful to read, but at least I don't hate the author of writing it, you know, like R.L. Stine, for instance. I will never let that go. But this is essentially like the hunt for a beast. And there's going to be some things happen, isn't there? So it was very gnarly, though. It doesn't hold back. It was gruesome. And it wasn't even the first time. There have been a few gruesome moments, not just like the animal death per se, but like some attacks that happened as well. Oh my God. It is borderline horror, the way it's described. But described so brilliantly. Like, I'm loving the writing style, loving the story so much. I cannot get enough. Like, genuinely, I am so excited to continue reading this. And this coffee's making me a little burpy. I'm not gonna lie. The chapters are short as well. Not long until I get to part 3. Like, this is essentially the book of my dreams right now. It's giving me everything I need and more. So I'm going to continue reading. Cannot wait. I'm going to set up my little cozy corner again like yesterday. So I was at personal training this morning and we did quite a lot. It was so nice though. It was so good. Loving getting back into a routine. And then my mum and sister came because it is my birthday tomorrow. I do have a couple of birthday cards up there. And it's so cute. One of the birthday cards my mum got me was like from Ashen Tobu, which is just so adorable. Also for my birthday as well, they did do my garden. So, I mean, they cut the grass. Like, they haven't like probably like thingy-my-bobbies. But because I'm going away this weekend, my mum's staying at mine to look after Ashen Tobu. And she's going to like do little bits and bobs. You know, I do have a house inspection next week, so that's going to be really helpful. But I will show you what they've done. I kind of wish I did it before because the grass before was absolutely horrendous. And like, we do need to like do this strimmer and stuff and, you know, get the little bits and stuff. But just as long as it looks better for the inspection next week. This is the birthday card that she got me from Ashen Tobu. Like, look at them though. They are honestly so amazing. To an amazing cat dad, we love you. And then that little picture inside as well. Oh, is that so cute? So cute. And obviously my mum's card as well, which is lovely. She also got me this rug that I've put here. I could always move it to here, but I'm not 100% sure just yet. So that's there for now, which is lovely. And then, yeah, because it is my birthday tomorrow, but she's not going to see me tomorrow. She also got me a new blender. A new Ninja blender. How awesome is that? Because I just use it for my protein shakes. And I was using like a really old, like NutriBullet, I think it was called. I bought it years and years and years ago. So it's nice to get like a proper nice big one. So I can do some bigger things. And I can put my protein shakes in this, you know what I mean? Oh my God, it's going to be great. Ow. It's going to be great. So yeah, a little ninja girly with my slush machine and my coffee machine, which I just had to descale for the last 90 minutes. She got me like so many of these bars as well, like these protein bars, and this little container for it too. Like, how cute is that? That's so cute. So yeah, I've had to do like a little bit of moving around because my syrups and things were over there, but I decided to move the syrups there, and I don't know, I quite like it. I quite like it. I hope you guys like it as well. Oh, and they also did the front garden as well, so that looks a lot better. Currently waiting for my next fuel hub, because that's what I eat now, and they're honestly amazing. So just waiting for that. I will just sit back down, finish my coffee, and I have been watching more like Disneyland vlogs as well. I need to stop. I need to pack it in. And just as I approached, Alan said, "Happy birthday." Thanks, Alan. I appreciate it. I am currently on my way to the polling station so I can vote in my local election. This is the first time I've been through the cemetery. Maps has taken me through here. I didn't even know this was here. But yeah. Hi. Go vote. I mean, this will be too late if you're in the UK by the time this vlog goes up, but go vote. Okay, that was actually like so hard to find because it's like a bit of a maze between like the estate, and I've like never been to that one before. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't get the best turnout, but it's very important for the future of our country. This is my first time using my Ninja blender that I got for my birthday. I hope I'm doing it right. I haven't looked at any instructions, but maybe... Okay. Oh, there's a click. Okay. Maybe I just click blend. Oh, do I need to... I literally never read the instructions and it always works out for me in the end. I literally just did a short a couple of days ago where I gave you all of my 5 stars so far this year, and I already need to update it. I do. I found another 5-star. I freaking love this. It's currently 2 p.m. and I'm having my 3rd coffee of the day. What am I doing? But okay, right. I don't think the ending of this was perfect. And I do think I preferred some POV chapters more than some others, but I had an absolute blast. I was so thrilled. I was so entertained the entire way through. It kept itself being quite bloody and gnarly, which is where I love that perfect blend of like historical and horror, but also like fantasy. And there was just so much going on that I genuinely didn't feel like I was bored, like at all. And this is a lengthy book. It's over 500 pages. And if you can hold my attention for 500 pages, you deserve a 5-star. It's one of those ones where I do acknowledge it's not perfect, but I don't care. If I'd realized just how prominent the LGBTQ plus representation would be in this, I would have probably read this a lot sooner. I mean, I couldn't really have fit it in with all the videos that I wanted to do before this one, so it would have been a struggle, but I would have made it. I would have made it work. Considering this is a debut too, it's so well written. Saw Modal was 100% my favourite character. I was listening to the audiobook as well. I did turn the audiobook off after a while, because even though it was good production, I think the audiobook narrators did a fantastic job, it came across as maybe like a little bit more silly, the way that some of the voices were, being depicted. And it just kind of clashed with how I originally started this book and what I pictured these characters sounding like and being like. So I ended up like stopping the audiobook and just finishing the rest of it physically. Saying that though, it's a hard one to explain with the humor because this isn't stuffy. It is very current humor. And considering most of this is set in the 1700s, it's like... there's different timelines, and the way it works is it's just a little bit different. Like the way the story is told is just a little bit different, and you do have some regular, current, up-to-date jokes or just references. So that in itself makes this like such a unique reading experience. But I guess the audiobook narrators made it sound a little bit more silly than it came across as when I was just reading it. So yeah, I put that one down and just finished it this way, and I'm so glad I did. I did like this book more when it leaned more into the horror side of things, the darker side of things. So yeah, overall, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely freaking loved it. And yeah, I'm going to be embossing it. Gosh, this will be my first emboss in months. In absolute months. Welcome officially to my home library, where you will remain forever and ever, or at least until I die. You know what, this one would have been a perfect one to have read this weekend, because whatever I read next, I will be taking on the train with me tomorrow when I go to Steph's, and doing the hen do over the weekend. That one probably would have been the best for traveling, because the other ones, just absolutely massive. I'm supposed to be taking one of these onto the train tomorrow, and yeah, reading it over the weekend and then on the train back, although I doubt I'll get much reading done over the weekend. But I don't think it'll be Joe Hill next. I think this one is going to be a little bit ridiculous to take on a train and try and read it then. So it is between Diabound and the Book of Fallen Leaves. I have been so excited to read Diabound, and again, like, this is just under 600 pages. This one is just a few pages more. So it really doesn't matter which one I do. I don't know. I don't think I've unlocked the 26 books reading 2026 achievement, reading a Fairyloot subscription book. And the Book of Fallen Leaves was in the Epic Fantasy box for February 2026. So this would work for that if I haven't already unlocked that. I don't think I have. No, I haven't actually. I've unlocked the Illumicrate one and I've unlocked the Broken Binding one, where I get an achievement for my 26 books reading 2026, and I have a book box quest. In one's Fairyloot, one's Illumicrate, one's Broken Binding, and it has to be a book that I got in a subscription, not one that I went out of my way to purchase. Like Diabound is also from Fairyloot, but it's not a subscription book. It was just a book that I bought myself, so this would count. This would be the subscription book, and then at least that's all of the book box quests done for the year, and it would also be my 9th 26 books to read in 2026 book, and it's only the start of May. So I'm actually, you know what, yeah, let's do the Book of Fallen Leaves. This is what I will take with me tomorrow. I'll start it today. Like, there's nothing else I'm doing today. I know it's my birthday, but I don't really celebrate my birthday that much. I don't really like my birthday all that much, to be quite honest. So I much prefer it when it's low-key, chill, and I don't do anything for it. I've got me, I've got my cats, what more do I need? I forgot to tell you what this is even about. I am about to go live in 4 minutes, public. I'm doing public sprints. So we follow a character called Sen, and he is a prince, but I believe that his father tried to rebel, and so he has been exiled, and he's trying to restore his place in the kingdom, or at least like restore his clan's place in the kingdom. And there was also a girl called Rue, or something like that, and she had like saved him, and so that kind of connected, tied together. So I think it's some kind of adventure starring those two. 3 minutes now until I go live. Little snacky snack for the final sprint. I'm only 22 pages into the Book of Fallen Leaves because there have just been distractions after distractions. But we are locking in for this final sprint. Well, look who was waiting for me to get home from the gym. Both my babies waiting at the window. Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute. Ah. 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 Are you excited for Daddy to get home with you? Yes, you were. Right, my Uber is on its way. I'm about to leave 4 steps. I have... Oh, whoops. I have my luggage, which I've only just packed. I've only just packed it like 10 minutes ago. I've only just showered as well. Got home from training. I think I got everything. If I don't, I don't. It is what it is. But yeah, the Uber is on its way. So just waiting for him to come. And then I'll be ready for my train, which is in just under an hour. See, everything always makes it in time, doesn't it? I just hope I haven't forgotten anything. I don't think I've forgotten anything. I don't think so. I do need to tell you about the Book of Fallen Leaves so far as well, but I'll have to do that at Steph's. I've taken it with me. I'm going to read some of it on the train, so I may have a better update for you. I'm only about 40 pages in, so I haven't read too much.
Did you overthink? You took a couple steps towards me and I said, hey, you seem a little nervous, but don't worry, cause it's working so well. No, I don't kiss and tell when you promise me the world. Oh, I hope you keep your word. Tell me more. Might kill me when they hear that I might want you, baby. This ain't another thing. Give me that time and night. Keep on doing your thing. My girl, baby, it's so well. No, I don't kiss and tell.
The Buzzball.
try.
So
Let's
it's
see.
just...
Let's drink with Gavin.
Gavin is on 8. Oh, when we drink with Gavin, he gets it down in 8. 7.
Oh, that's very strong. Oh,
Very strong.
Tinker. I actually want to cry.
Is that strong?
I mean, it
what
goes
is
there.
Like it's tequila Rita.
Oh. I was going to say I'll try some, but I'm not sure if I'm down for tequila. Let's try it.
It's
have a
not
little-
tequila. I lied.
Oh.
It's fuck. Ignore that.
Not you as well. Oh, it's you.
No, it's-
Stripper. You know, I read it and I knew you were
Try this
lying.
one.
Here, take it off me.
What do you mean? Do you wanna be mine? What do you mean when you look at me like that? What do you mean? Just want me to be
Right, it's currently May 11th and I have the heating on. I have the heating on. What is going on? I'm so cold. And I never ever turn the heating on after a certain point. I usually wait until the very last possible minute in winter. And then, yeah, I usually try like maybe April. Maybe start of April is like the latest I've ever put the heating on. But it's currently May 11th. And I have the heating on. What is going on? Anyway, sorry, I have just filmed my book haul video. I wasn't going to make a book haul video, but we do have some developments that require me to extend this vlog just a little bit because I will get into everything. I'm 98 pages into the Book of Fallen Leaves and I think I'm going to DNF it. I do. And because I'm going to DNF this one, I do want to replace this with another big book. Like, my personal goal was to at least read 4 big books in this video. And I know I have Moby Dick still. I can still finish off Moby Dick. But I wanted like 4 full big books. In my head, I wanted 4 full big books. And I know what you're going to say. You could be like, oh, Gavin, you can just DNF and just move on. You don't have to replace it with another big book. Yes, I do. I'll tell you why I feel like I'm going to DNF this book in a second. I have just been to Steph's and it was incredible. Like, I did Steph's hen do or bachelorette party if you are from a different part of the world that don't use the phrase hen do. Because when I talked about Jade's hen do last year, a lot of people were like, what the hell is a hen do? Gab, what the hell is a hen do? So it is the fact that Steph from Steph Loves is getting married this year. I have been invited to the wedding. I'm so excited. And I was also invited to the hen do. And so yeah, I had my birthday on Thursday. And then on Friday, I took the train to Steph's. And it was so lovely because Jade from JD Ray Reads was there as well. And they both got me a pair of 34 balloons, you know, for my birthday, as well as a Charlotte Claire Lego, which is upstairs. I might even make it in this vlog, but they got me a Charlotte Claire Lego, and I'm so, because Charlotte Claire, I love Charlotte Claire, you know, from the F1, who I keep talking about and raving about because I love him so much, and they got me that, and I had no idea, by the way. I genuinely, because when Steph said, oh, come down like the day before, and like, can you come down the day before? I genuinely thought it meant for Steph's hen do. I didn't think it would have anything to do with my birthday. But they surprised me. They got me a couple of cards as well, which are not exactly safe for work, so I won't show them. And they also got me a chocolate birthday cake, and they got me a bubbly pink Moscato, which we already drank. We drank it during, you know, the birthday celebrations that day. And then Zoe came as well. So hi Zoe, if you're watching, it was so lovely to meet you. Zoe was also going to the hen do. And then we did get through 5 bottles of bubbly pink Moscato and a bottle of Prosecco. Oh my gosh, we drank so much. And we played Cards Against Disney. We also did a wine painting thing. You know, when you have those packs where you have the wine glasses and you can paint anything on them. We did that, and I think I show some of that as well. I wanted to film more. I didn't really film that much as I was out and about for the hen do. And it was at this beautiful, you know, like health resort and spa thing. And it was so nice. Like, that was the day after. But yeah, I didn't really film a whole lot when I was away. I kind of took the time to have a bit of a break from everything, and it was so needed. It was so lovely. But yeah, Steph's hen do, I met some of Steph's friends and family who I've never met before, and they were so wonderful. They were so lovely. And we had plenty of meals. We had plenty of cocktails. We had access to the spa. There was a swimming pool, and I had a leg and foot massage, which again, I didn't really feel. I feel like this is a problem of my entire body, is when I get massages, I don't feel them. And the sports massages I get every 2 weeks-ish, I can't really feel them. So I am going to go to the doctor and get checked because maybe it's something to do with me and my nerves, maybe like my body or whatever. Anyway, you don't really need to know all of that. The Hendo was amazing. I just want to say the Hendo was amazing. It was lovely. It was so good. And so, yeah, I came back home yesterday morning and yeah, I was so tired yesterday. I could not read anything. I couldn't do anything, but I forced myself to stay awake. And then I woke up this morning feeling so refreshed. And yeah, no hangovers, no nothing. I feel great now. And I am ready to get back into doing some reading. I just don't want to read this. I really don't. I took this down with me. I was reading it on the train down, and I also read quite a bit of it as well the day before during my public reading sprints on my birthday. And yeah, I just, it feels like I've been dropped into season 2, episode 12 of a series. And I have no clue what was supposed to happen before this. And every now and then I'm getting little bits of information of things that happened in the past. And a lot of the times, like I ended up taking photos because I try not to annotate books that I think, well, or at least like books that I'm not 100% sure I will definitely keep. The Red Winter, I felt straight away that I wanted it because I just knew I would love it. And so it's a risk. A lot of times it's a risk, but I was annotating the Red Winter. This one I didn't. I just took photos of pages so that I could get a good sense of what I wanted to say about it. And I feel bad as well because to begin with, I thought the writing of this was quite lush and I was really liking a lot of the images that the author was depicting through some like really beautiful examples of beautiful writing. And not even just beautiful writing, but some of it was horrific too. Like there is, death in the way it's kind of described. I'll not say who this is dying, but the hissing of her voice hung in the air. He tried to say no again, but his arms obeyed, pulling the blade up, and with a thick, wet gasp, he cut through his own ribcage, fat and tissue, organ, bone. His body trembled. Yeah, I'm going to stop there because it gets even more intense. And I was like, okay, like this is great. This is great. Like it feels good. Like the writing is so good. But I'm at nearly 100 pages in now. I've literally stopped on page 98. I've read the first 7 chapters. And at this point, I'm like, I don't really care about the characters. I don't care what is going on because it feels like a lot of telling. And I'm so conflicted because a lot of the beautiful examples of descriptive writing is there. The first 7 chapters are filled with some beautiful descriptive writing, but when it comes to the actual plot, it just ain't happening for me. And there's just so much history that's being told to me as well. And a lot of the times it would kind of be told in the same kind of way. Let's see if I can find the example. Yeah, so there's a couple of characters talking about things that have happened, about the nobility and the court. They don't want to go into the countryside. They use warriors to manage them instead. And then a character says, so you know what happened. Our forefathers gained power because blah, blah, blah. So like a lot of times it would be like 2 characters talking. And one of them would be like, oh, but you remember when this happened, don't you? You remember that. So you know what happened. Let me remind you. Let me remind the audience and the reader of what it was that happened in the past. And I'm just like, okay, I'm being told so many things over and over and I don't care about it because I'm not connecting with the characters just yet. I need to connect to them first for me to really want to kind of see exactly how history depicts what is supposed to be happening now and how it's dictating character actions and their circumstances. And it's just none of that is really sinking in right now because I just don't care. I don't. And I am trying to care. And I didn't have anything else. I didn't take anything else with me on the train. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be stuck with this. Like, if I'm going to read, I have to read this. And so, like, I was reading on the train and I was like, I'm just not enjoying this. I'm not enjoying this. I'm not enjoying this. But I don't have a backup, so I'm going to continue reading. And then on the train home, I didn't read anything. I was way too tired. We were up until 4 a.m. that final night for the Hindu. And we were up 3 a.m. on the night of, like, after my birthday, like that Friday night with Steph's. And, oh my gosh, barely any sleep. And so I knew I wasn't going to read anything on the way home. And yeah, maybe I could have done, but it's just one look at this, not just because I was tired, but because I just didn't want to read it. So I will be taking the bookmark out, I will. And I will be tossing this, unfortunately. Yeah, even just the start of chapter 7 as well, which was the final chapter I fully read. Like, there's some internal character monologue, and it just... By this point, I was like, I'm done with the monologues, I'm done with the history lessons, I'm done with the telling. So I'm giving up. I'm giving up, unfortunately. So yeah, 98 pages. I will replace this with something, but I'm not 100% sure what yet. But in the meantime, I do want to start Diabound by Sable Sorensen. I am so excited. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. So I will spend the rest of today just reading this, honestly. Well, I'll wait for the book hold to finish exporting, do the thumbnail and stuff like that. It's currently on 98%, so that's going to be finished in just a minute. We follow Merrin in this, and she hates the people who are called the bonded, and the bonded are able to bond, I think, through the mind with direwolves. Only the bonded live in luxury, and people who can't bond or don't bond live in poverty. And Merrin is somebody who has lived in poverty. Merrin's younger sister is kidnapped and taken across the border by monsters, and this is Merrin's journey to save her sister, as well as to be welcomed into this big world. And it sounds a little bit like Quicksilver, just a little bit, just a smidgen. And I love Quicksilver, I think it's great. And if I go into this expecting more of an entertaining read, it doesn't have to be perfect, then I do think I will absolutely eat this up. I am looking for another book that's quite like Quicksilver, something that I can just read and enjoy without, thinking too much about. And yeah, I don't care about the length of this. It is nearly 600 pages. Don't care. I'm ready for it. Oh, and she has to survive the bonding trials. Yes, she does. Beautiful fairy edition of this book. So let's hope that I emboss this one and it was money well spent.
Like a crab that's molten from her shell, I crawl out uncomfortably. Like a daughter who only wishes well, I've got your card in front of me. I'm the same girl, but I never fit back into my old skin. So we're back to the same old holiday, but it's gonna feel different. It's a hard bargain that you drive, and sometimes I think why make the trade just one more little time. Your respect for my autonomy. I remember lessons that you taught. Forgive my gullibility, and it's not my fault that you forgot. I took it all so seriously. I've evolved around you. Evolve. Can you love something new? Evolve. I've evolved around you. Evolve. Can you love something new?
Good morning. I was going to update last night, but I ended up reading until I think about 11 p.m. And then I started to watch more Disney vlogs. Yes, I did. And then I ended up going to bed, so I didn't give an update last night. But I have made it quite a ways into Diabound. I am now 249 pages, and I'm really enjoying it. I do think it's quite a fun, entertaining read. I am seeing several tropes that I think are prevalent in the romantasy genre, and it's not the most original thing I've ever read. In fact, I was getting quite a lot of like Hunger Games vibes, a little bit, especially the relationship between Meryn and her sister, and the way that was being described at the start of the book. It just felt very Hunger Games. It felt very Katniss and Prim. And then some of the romance stuff that was happening too. There was actually something that happened in the first chapter, like the way that things were described, where I wrote down, is this foreshadowing? Is this foreshadowing? And then in one of the previous chapters that I read before I stopped, turned out I was correct. So like it's a little bit predictable, but I will say I am rather gripped by the plot itself. I do think the whole bonding trials thing, the going up that ice mountain that Meryn had to do, the way all of that was described was so good. Has Ash moved? I put the camera like this because I was like, oh, there's Ash. But this is kind of like the worst angle possible. Let's move you a little bit further back. And yes, I am wearing my dressing gown. It is May 12th now, and I am cold. I am so cold. But yeah, the way that the snow was described, there was things like, oh, the snow was falling, but it wasn't touching the ground. The icy atmosphere of it felt very dangerous, and it was very unforgiving. There is the whole bonding trials, and Meryn has to go up this massive ice mountain and encounter direwolves, and they choose to bond with you. That is essentially the premise. That is what the bonding trial is, and it is incredibly unforgiving. Like, we meet new characters and not all of them survive. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of loving this because, yeah, it seems like anyone could potentially die at this point. So it felt dangerous. It felt exciting. Yeah, page 159, I literally wrote, saw it coming. So that is the thing that I predicted in the very first chapter. I literally wrote on page 7, this feels like foreshadowing. And I was absolutely right. I mean, maybe it's intentional. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be a surprise, but I saw it that way, okay? And yeah, it really doesn't shy away from that whole ice mountain part, which I did freaking love. The direwolf that has Ash moved again. Oh my god, he's just getting further and further away. Like, I just want him in shot. Yeah, the direwolf and how it actually happens, like the bonding itself, was incredibly exciting, and I loved seeing that. I thought that was kind of creative. I feel bad for annotating this book and writing all over it, but, you know, my book, my rules. And I don't want to talk too soon because the last 300 pages might piss me off. Oh, I love 2 new characters that we met as well called Isabel and Venna. I loved those 2. But I will say, like, this isn't like the best writing I've ever read. I mean, it's definitely entertaining and definitely very fun to read. But there were certain things that happened that were just way too quick, way too unbelievable, even for a fantasy story, that I feel like could have done with some embellishment. But the author just thought, you know what, this might not be that exciting or entertaining to read, so I'm just kind of make it seem incredibly quick and easy. And that has happened a couple of times. The biggest example of that happening was on page 41 and recruiting into like the whole army section. It just, that was way too quick and it just seemed like way too easy. But I think what I'm loving the most of so far is the classism and the exploration of that, considering Meryn does come from a poor class and where she lives is riddled by nabbers. And now things have opened up more as like a mystery, so I don't want to talk too much about the nabbers because I kind of don't know how that's going to unfold. But it is very clear that there is a class issue in this world, and the way that people are treated are very awful, and Meryn is seeing what it's like to live on the other side of that. So we do actually have, you know, her now living in luxury, feels very throne of glass, and there are definitely those incredibly eye-rolling romantasy tropes that are keeping me from giving this like the perfect 5-star that I would love to give it. But I mean, again, like still like, oh my gosh, it's just gotten so much brighter so quickly. I'm going to be roasting my tits off. Yeah, there's a massive section, page 150, 151. You know, that typical, oh my god, I'm so beautiful kind of moment. So what is Meryn going to do about this classism issue? I don't know. In terms of the romance, okay, so things will be a little bit complex. And I mean, I don't fully love it because the love interest at the start of the book, Lee, he calls her Kitten. And I don't love that nickname. I just don't. It kind of fits with her because she is said to be alley cat. So, like, she has, like, these scrapes in alleys, you know, like, back in the day when before she started to train and be a good fighter. She was called alley cat, so he calls her Kitten. And I'm just like, that's a terrible nickname. It's, like, not sexy at all. Makes me feel a little bit sick. Ash moved again, didn't he? He moved again. I see where he is now. He's in that one. I'm not moving this anymore, though. So I do, unfortunately, find a fair bit of the romance to be quite cringy. But it does look like there is another love interest thing happening. So I'm very intrigued to see what unfolds there. There is a character called Stark, who is a hot man. But he is very dangerous, okay? He's a dangerous, dangerous man. And I do love the end papers. So I believe this one is supposed to be Lee at the front there. And then we have Stark on the back there. I mean, obviously I would have both at the same time, but this ain't about me. So I'm going to continue on for a few more hours today. And then I have a house inspection at 3 p.m. And I get one every 6 months because I do rent. So I'm getting that at 3 p.m. Last time they were here was in November. And they haven't seen me take the doors off like 3 of the rooms. So like my library rooms, I've taken the doors off. And the kitchen, I've taken the door off. And I don't know how they're going to react to that. Hopefully okay. I mean, the doors are still there. I've got all of the parts to them. Like, you know, like the handles and stuff. They're all there. It's just, I wanted the doors off because now I have more room. And the door in the kitchen was right in front of the fridge. Whenever I go in the kitchen, I have to open the door and then move the door so I could get into the fridge. It was just a nightmare. So that's what I'll explain. But hopefully everything else is okay. That floating shelf that doesn't float properly is not put on the wall right at all. But it is what it is. And yeah, maybe they might say something about that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to continue on until then. And then I have reading sprints after the inspection. Hopefully it doesn't last too long. It never usually does. You know what I just realised? Is that because I DNF the Book of Fallen Leaves, I can't count this towards my 26 books reading 2026 achievements because it's part of the Fairy Loot book box achievement. And unfortunately, I DNF this and I have many Fairy Loot books upstairs I need to get to. So this will not count. Diabound doesn't count either because I went out on my way to purchase this. Because yes, I have finished this. I have finished it. And I finished Sprints as well. And like, guys, this is filled with so many tropes. I rolled my eyes so much, and like honestly, sometimes like there are certain tropes that just like make me feel a little bit sick at how overdone they are. Again, I can't really like mention the one that really makes me roll my eyes because it could be a spoiler. But saying that, I enjoyed the heck out of this. I actually really did. Like, it was really fun and really entertaining. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I'm gonna give it 4 stars because by the end of it, the things that were happening were very exciting. And despite, it's mainly character things that makes me roll my eyes. It's mainly those tropes that make me roll my eyes. But when it came to the plot itself, like, I genuinely was fascinated by the mystery behind, like, her sister, for instance, and her disappearance and what happened to her. I was very satisfied by how that unfolded. And I definitely didn't see some things coming, but the main character did frustrate me a little bit because I think there was just too many things that she willfully ignored and overlooked. And having said that as well, though, I do think there are some issues with the writing. I do think some world rules were not followed at certain points of this book. Like, a specific talent or a specific skill would be mentioned as something that could happen earlier in the book. And then when it's time for that skill to really come in handy, it doesn't work because the author wanted something dramatic to happen. You know what I mean? I'm probably explaining it so badly. It is now like 10 p.m. and I've been awake a long time today. I am actually a little bit tired. So I'm probably not making the most sense. But like, world rules were not followed by the end of this book too. So there was definitely lapses in that. I did end up doing audiobook so I could walk on the treadmill on my walking pad and listen to it as I was, doing my sprints. And it was so good. Like, the audiobook was actually fantastic. It was dual narrated and I could still follow along very well. And I was like walking on the walking pad with this audiobook and I was making faces. I was reacting. And there was definitely a couple of things towards the end that I was like, okay, that actually impresses me. But I don't think this does anything new. I am in a place in my life where something like this, something that's just like popcorn, entertainment, something fun, something that isn't too serious. Like, this is just what I needed right now. Had I read this at a time in my life when I was feeling a little bit, I don't know, cynical, then maybe I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. But I do want to emboss this. I want to emboss it. And I'm very, very glad that I did pre-order the second book, which, like, I pre-ordered it last month. It was announced in March and it's not going to get shipped until like September, October, November. I'm like, damn, like, it's taking a while, but they usually do, don't they? I think Fairy Special Editions, when they go out of their way to release a sequel, it takes a long time after it's actually originally released. So let's do our second embossing of the video. The lighting is probably really terrible, so you can't really say that very well, but just know it's stamped. It has been embossed. And I do have a plan of action for what I'm doing next. I mean, I'm still doing like King's Sorrow and stuff, but in terms of like the Book of Fallen Leaves, for instance, and the drama surrounding Mayday and effing this, and by drama, I mean the drama I create in my head, I do have a plan of action and I will tell you about it tomorrow. I'm not going to do anything else tonight. I'm going to wind down, chill for bed, and ready for training at 9 o'clock in the morning. Ridiculous. Look, literally, I've just started to walk towards it. You bastard. Every freaking time. Ugh. He saw me coming. Oh, did I tell you about my house inspection yesterday? It went really well. It was the same person who's been doing my house inspection since I moved in. And she's always so impressed with my library rooms. And she asked for a recommendation yesterday. She was like, oh, I like thrillers. Do you have a recommendation? I ended up giving her my copy of My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. She took that. She took that with her. And she said, oh, do you want me to drop it back in? I was like, no, don't worry about it. Don't you worry about it. Pass it on. So I've essentially unhauled a book that I would have stamped, honestly. I would have kept it. I would have embossed it. But unfortunately, I no longer have it. And it was like that really nice. In fact, I've got my book haul going up today and it's in there and it's already gone. It's already gone. It was an independent bookstore edition, beautiful sprayed edges, everything, and it's gone. It's gone. But, you know, I was just being nice. You know, sometimes I'm too nice for my own good. And even though I would have loved to have kept it, it's gone on to a different home. Anyway, I will be reading King Sorrow next. However, we have come up with a plan for how to replace the Book of Fallen Leaves. So Corey's Reading Corner, one of my members suggested this on my reading sprints yesterday. You could replace Fallen Leaves with a book that's roughly the same amount of pages you had left. And that's a genius idea. That is genuinely such a genius idea. So I read 97 pages. I DNF'd on page 98. And that would have left 486 pages left to read. And I went on my spreadsheet, you know, like my book collection spreadsheet. And you know how I've got a column with all of the pages? Because I've painstakingly put in the exact amount of pages for each book. And I searched 486, 485, 484. So like books in that general vicinity. One of them was spot on. And that was The Isle in the Silver Sea by Tasha Suri. But I don't really fancy this right now. Like, at all. I mean, I do want to read it, don't get me wrong, but I already feel like I'm overwhelming myself a lot with, like, books that I've gotten from book boxes, and I don't want to do another one, like, this close to doing, like, 2, essentially, and one of them that I DNF'd was a book box book, like the Fallen Leaves one. I'd be replacing a DNF book with a book from a subscription, so I didn't really want to do that. And then I looked at the other page counts in that general area, and one came up that I definitely need to read. I've had this on my TBR for years. I think since 2019 or 2020, but you know the Disney Twisted Tales? And I've got so many of them. I've got like a stack of them, and I haven't touched one in about 5 or 6 years. So As Old as Time by Liz Braswell would be enough pages to finish off what I was supposed to read for the Book of Fallen Leaves. So this is definitely the one that I'm going to end up reading after King's Sorrow. And you can tell as well, like the cover is quite dirty. I need to clean that corner of the stack of books. It's quite dusty and stuff. So I do need to clean it, but I also do need to read it. And I have been in such a Disney mood ever since booking Disney World Florida, and I've been watching all of those Disney vlogs and things, so I do think this is like the best time to get back into reading some Disney Twisted Tales. And this is one of the oldest ones as well, like one of the first ones that ever came out. And yeah, I've had it for so long, I need to read it. But firstly, I will be reading King Sorrow, and this one is, you know, Stephen King's son, written by Stephen King's son, and this is a sort of King Arthur kind of inspired horror, or at least like horror fantasy. Look at how bloody big it is. 877 pages. Oh, but that kind of makes me a little moist as well, though, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, we have a student called Arthur, and he goes to this college. However, he's been forced by some local drug dealers to start committing crimes, and that starts to get him into trouble. And I believe he asks his friends for help, and it might open up some kind of horrific portal, and they summon a fabled dragon to kill Arthur's enemies. This is in my 26 books to read in 2026, so even though I won't get the achievements for the book box, I will still get the achievement for this one. So we should hopefully still hear that little ding in this video. Right, so I'm going to get started on that, but I do want to quickly mention, because I keep forgetting to mention it, but I do have a Trover trip coming up next year to South Africa, and I have 5 spots left. I will leave all of the information for it down below, but if you would like to come to South Africa with me in October 2027, and say you've always wanted to go, but you've always been like too scared, or like it's like too far out of your comfort zone, then it's just going to be an absolute amazing time with me and some already fantastic people who have signed up for it as well. I have already been to South Africa. I went 10 years ago. The last time I was there was in 2016, and I was part of Reach Out Volunteers, and I was helping on some game parks, and we were getting rid of some traps that poachers were setting so that we could like help protect the animals. And I also worked on a creche, so I was like helping to build a classroom, and it was just like an amazing, incredible time. But it has been like 10 years since I was last there, and I would love to go back, and I am going back. So that's one of the reasons why I picked South Africa as like one of my next trips. We are going to be doing so much, but I don't want to talk too much about it. I do like hate trying to like sell things and stuff, but if you want to check it out, link down in the description box. So yeah, it is a very grisly Wednesday, although the weather keeps changing its mind. And while I would absolutely love to sit outside and read this, it's going to have to be another indoor read. And I can't wait for the weather to get like so good again that I can actually sit outside and read with the fresh air. I completely forgot that I was supposed to have a gas safety inspection this morning at 8:30, and I had my alarm on at 8, and I always have 4 alarms on that go off 10 minutes after one another. And I wait until that last possible alarm to get up, and that's when he knocked on the door. And I was still in bed, and I had to run up, get clothes on, and answer the door. So fortunately, all of that's been done, which is great, but it was a little bit of a chaotic morning because I hadn't like slept in or anything, but you know when you've got that feeling that you have slept in? That's kind of what I felt like. I'm supposed to have training in an hour, but I asked Liam if I could do 7 p.m. tonight instead of 11 a.m. because I want to see what it's like in the like late evening. I want to see what the gym is like, what my body is like do I have more energy? Do I have less energy? So I kind of want to test that out. So I don't have training for like another 9 hours. And that's great for me because I am 530 pages into King Sorrow by Joe Hill. And this is so good. So let me tell you what I think of it so far with my second coffee of the morning. It's not even 10 a.m. yet. So I was blasting through this yesterday. And yeah, I couldn't put it down really. And I don't want to compare to Stephen King because, you know, he is Stephen King's son. I'm sure he is sick to death of the comparisons. I'm sure Joe Hill's fans are sick to death of the comparisons. But in terms of the writing style, it definitely feels like him. And I think that's why I'm kind of blasting through it a lot because I do find Stephen King's writing so bingeable and so quick to read, like for me personally. And I'm starting to say that a little bit with Joe Hill as well. And there are a lot of like the trademarks, like characters, for instance. Do I like the characters in this? I mean, not really, but like they are flawed people. They feel like real people. And we have different characters. We have that friend group in the beginning and we see how their decisions like are affected by their personalities and like what they stand for. And so yeah, they are deeply flawed people. And that's one of the things I love about Stephen King's works is that I love how real the characters feel. And that's how I feel about the characters in this too. But this also does suffer from that, you know, like there's like a bit of waffle. Like King Sorrow is like the main kind of plot of this. You know, they have summoned this dark dragon from a different dimension, and there is like a little bit more to the plot that was in the summary in terms of what that entails. So I don't want to say exactly what that is, but let's just say there was like a kind of there was wording attached to the original summoning and the original kind of contract per se. And so like the main characters are like a little bit trapped. And I kind of love that because it does allow for the plot to go on as long as it's going on. But also because I feel like it's some kind of metaphor from like Stephen King himself, if you know what I mean. Like we have King Sorrow and the characters sometimes refer to him as like all hail the king. And I feel like with the characters trying to get out of the shadow of King Sorrow, it's almost feeling like Joe Hill is trying to get out of the shadow of Stephen King. And so like the whole comparison with King is so interesting to me. So maybe me comparing this to Stephen King isn't that wild. Maybe this was exactly the point of it. Not that I'm saying that Stephen King is a murderous dragon or anything, but I feel like what the message of this story can kind of be, maybe there's an underlining theme there with Stephen King. But back to this story in general, I do think the characters make some of the worst decisions ever. And I thought that about Diabound. I thought the main character was doing some like silly things sometimes. I mean, she has nothing on these guys. She has absolutely nothing on them. I don't want to say that they have what is coming to them. But the decisions that these people are making and have made are so head-scratching. But because of that, the plot has been so good and exciting. Like when it really kicks in, and there are those like lulls between main plot beats. And there was like a massive section on the plane that was so riveting. Like it was so suspenseful, so good. Like I wouldn't even really describe this as much of a horror per se, but it's definitely unsettling. It has been a little bit unsettling, and there's been fear involved in these characters and what they end up having to go through. Some of it has been a little bit graphic, but not like too bad. Like it has been not as horrific as I thought it would be. But there are massive chunks and sections of this book that I do find so entertaining. But there was also a pretty big section of this that I'm just coming out of now. Like I feel like I'm coming out of. But there was, gosh, at least 100 pages or something. And again, I don't want to spoil anything, but I don't love it when other people get involved, like say like government wise or like FBI wise or just anything like that. I don't like it when there's like an investigation into the kind of big magical or dimensional or fantastical things that are happening, because that then begins to bore me. And unfortunately, this book has kind of suffered from that kind of plot point. Part of it felt a little bit like Firestarter in a way. Like, I do like Firestarter, but that book started to bore me because it became a little bit of a clinical, kind of governmental kind of story. And I just didn't love that. I really didn't love that. And I'm probably not explaining that completely correctly, but it's just like the investigations into the fantastical. I don't love that. I don't. It kind of takes a little bit of the magic away from me. And I think that I'm coming out of that point of the story, I think. So that's the only thing that's kind of like bringing it down for me. There have been, again, like Stephen King, massive sections where like the characters are talking shite and it is what it is, like they're real people and they're just chatting shit. So sometimes I have to just read that and be like, okay, like maybe there's a little bit of personality coming through there. I'm learning a little bit more about them there and stuff like that. I'm trying to trust the process. And yeah, I am really enjoying it though. I am really enjoying it. Hoping that plot point is now finished so that I can go back to like really loving the main premise of this. But yeah, when King Sorrow first appears, when King Sorrow first ends up, encountering characters, that is when I really started to be like, oh, like this is like a really good story. I really enjoy this. I could say that, I'm not even going to finish that sentence. I was going to say I could say this is a Stephen King novel. But I need to stop. I'm going to stop the comparisons now, unless there's been more kind of those like metaphors that I mentioned about pulling away from the King's shadow. Unless there's something like really groundbreaking about that, I will give the Stephen King references a rest. I will. I'm just itching to get back into reading Stephen King. I need to do my next Gavin Reads All the King episode, and I have been asked about it a few times. And I'm now in the 90s era of Stephen King as I'm reading through his books in publication order. I'm now in the 90s. In the 90s was when I was born, so May, being the month of my birthday, is the perfect time to read some 90s Stephen King. So I will be doing that in a couple of weeks, maybe even a week and a half. I want to do Emboss, and then I want to do Sherlock Holmes, and then I think the next one after that is going to be Stephen King. And I think I have plenty of time. We're not even really halfway through the month yet. We're about to be, so plenty of time. But it's giving me the itch. I do need to show you what I've done upstairs, because I thought I'd shown you how I changed my library room around. But, I mean, not that I've changed around too much. I have moved my spinning bookcase in the hallway. And I did used to have these things, like that and that. I used to have running along here. Oh, and as you can see as well, I've finally finished Barradet. My Lego Barradet, finally finished it after a month and a half. Started at the end of March. I think I started it in my Reading Jan's Worst Books video. Yeah, I've got my spinning bookcase here. And I actually think it's so much better there, because when it was, I'm out of breath. When it was in here, I do feel like it was a little bit claustrophobic. Like it was a little bit too in the way. And it was like blocking some of the sunlight that was coming in. And I just didn't love that. So now I've got way more space in here. And like that needs to go back in the other room. But I needed that so I could grab that from up there. But yeah, way more room. And I've got a little cat thing there. And then in here, yeah, it's just like much more room. And I've got my blue chair there. I don't know if I'm going to keep a chair in here, to be honest, because it does take up some room. But it is nice to sit in here every now and then, isn't it? It is nice. That is essentially what I've done to this room. And like without the computer here as well, more sunlight comes in. It's a little bit brighter. It's a little bit nicer. And at least I've got like enough room, to move through, because I've taken all the doors off the upstairs rooms for the library. And there's just like a bit more room. But yeah, I'm so happy about this as well. Look, watch this. The Eye of Sauron. Barradet, it is done. It is finally done. I don't know if it'll stay here, to be honest. I've got nowhere else to put it. But at least it's like a little bit out of the way. It is a little bit out of the way. And I don't really want to put it on there. I do have my Lego Rivendell on here. So I'm like, do I put... Well, I don't think I could fit it on. Try and put Barradet somewhere in here. Maybe I could put it down there. Or like down there. I don't know. I really don't know. Won't fit on the top. Definitely won't fit on the top. Got my Little Frodo, Sam, and Gollum on there. Love it. Ash, this rain had better stop before I have to leave for training later. I am honestly sick of it being so nice and sunny. 1 second, then 10 minutes later, rain. It has been like this for days, hasn't it, Ash? Hasn't it? Yes, it does. Oh, yes, it does. Oh, look at that beautiful... Oh, look at the little teeth. Look at little... Oh, I love you. But yeah, this is getting ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous now. It is now 5:30 p.m. and I have not long finished King's Sorrow and I really enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, this is such a long book, but I genuinely needed to know how they were going to resolve this. And the latter parts of the book definitely went into many different directions. And I did get to see a little bit more of how the King Arthur kind of legend would be woven into this, because I did know that this is a little bit of a King Arthur, not exactly a retelling, but there are definitely allusions to it, there are definitely nods to it, so I got to see a little bit more of that in the latter half of this book, so it all started to make sense. Really enjoyed the time periods as well. Like, this goes through so many different years of their lives, and there are usually references to world events happening in that time. It maybe got like a little bit political by the end as well, just to do with like people's commentary on things that are happening and like some really big, huge, devastating things, like something that happened in 2001, for instance. Like, as soon as I say that, yeah, you know exactly what I mean. And yeah, I still didn't really fully love the characters by the end, but I was starting to root for them. By that point, I kind of did want someone to root for, so I did just like latch on to the people who I've known the longest, and that definitely helped with the latter half of the story. So yeah, I only had like, what, 300 pages, and I, again, pretty much flew through it. I mean, it's been like 6-7 hours since I, you know, sat down to begin this huge section of the book. But no, I thought it was really good. I'm going to give it 4.5. I definitely preferred it over Diabound. I preferred the Red Winter, like 100%. And I'm going to emboss it. It's definitely going to get embossed. So glad as well, because this is such a beautiful edition. And we're going to stamp on this page so you can hopefully see that, or you might not even really be able to see, which is why I feel pretty good about embossing these books, because it's not really like defacing them per se. Like, sometimes you can't even tell it's there. So I feel good about it. So that is another book, the longest book. And oh my gosh, it's another 26 books to read in 2026 book done as well. So we can tick that achievement off. But I also believe this is the 9th 26 books to read in 2026 book that I have read so far this year. And that is great progress compared to last year, and the year before that, and the year before that, and maybe even the year before that. So I can put that down now, and I have an hour and a half until my late evening, late night training session. And I'm so excited, I am, but the weather, it keeps raining, and then it keeps getting dry, and then the skies become blue, and then the skies go grey again, and it starts to rain again. I have no idea what the hell I'm supposed to do with this information. Okay, it doesn't look like it's supposed to rain for the rest of the day, but there are definitely still some rain clouds hovering around, and I need to walk down, so I'm just wondering how I'm going to do that. I also found out a couple of days ago that the Haunted Nunnery that I went to about 2 years ago is being torn down and redeveloped into flats, and I am gutted, absolutely gutted. I had a Return to the Haunted Nunnery video planned for next year, and I asked the person who runs it, because I haven't seen it on the website all year, and I've been checking and checking and checking, and yeah, it's getting torn down. It's too unsafe. And maybe it was unsafe when I went because it definitely looked it. In fact, there was even a section of the nunnery where you had to wear a hard hat if you wanted to go through it, just in case something fell on you. So I guess it makes sense that it is, but like at the same time, I wish they could have saved the nunnery. It's such a beautiful building, and I'm just gutted that I'll never ever get a chance to go back. So I have just done a YouTube short, a TikTok, and an Instagram reel. Whenever I post a short, I post them on all three. I'm so sorry if you find that annoying. What do people do when you repost on 3 different platforms? Do people just do that? Is that okay? I don't want to annoy everyone with the repetition of it all. But yeah, I posted the YouTube short. So if you want to watch that, it is to remember and commemorate the nunnery, which will no longer be with us. And I'm just so sad. I am genuinely so sad about it. Anyway, I need to have something to eat. It's been a good day so far, honestly. It has been. It's been a good day. Yeah, see, look, I need to leave in 15 minutes and it's raining again. Do you see what I mean about? Make your mind up, please. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And now it's not raining anymore. Don't you dare, Alan. Don't you bloody dare. Oh my god, look at that puddle. Look at that puddle. Oh my god, please. No one drive very fast through it, please. Oh my god. Okay, good. Oh my god. Oh, fucking Alan. Oh my god, he literally just saw me come in there. Oh, he just saw me coming. He was like, I want to put this down on you, bitch. Oh, man. I told you he does it on purpose. Literally, I was just about cross. And the alarm went off. And he's just put the barrier down. I'm telling you, he does it on purpose. I'm not even making it up. Look. Try get me that time. No. I have just finished training. Well, look who's putting the barriers down. Alan, I see you. Trying to make up for before you. Okay, this is so weird. I am about to start As Old as Time. Okay. And look what has just been uploaded to the Disney YouTube channel 4 hours ago. As Old as Time, A Beauty and the Beast Twisted Tale. What are the odds? What are the odds? I mean, oh, it's a little bit zoomed in. Oh, now too zoomed out. There we go. Like, what are the odds? This came out in 2016. And I'm about to pick it up after this has been on my TBR since, I think, 2020. Maybe 2019, maybe 2021, I can't remember. And 4 hours ago, Disney uploaded something. Is this a trailer? Is this a... You know what I mean? I'm like, what in the world? What in the world? He did it again. I was just crossing when he started the alarm. He's done it 2 days in a row now. Does he mind? Does he actually mind? Today is Friday, and I actually fancied an editing day today. So that's what I've been doing for the majority of today. It is now 5:30 p.m. And yeah, for the last like 6 hours, I've been editing this vlog. So the vlog at the minute is 1 hour and 20 minutes, or 1 hour, 19 minutes, 11 seconds. And yeah, it takes me about 6 hours to edit up to 1 hour and like nearly 20. So I don't know if that like helps to visualize like how long it takes to edit a video, for instance, but it has been a proper good little editing set. And sometimes I just like to do that. And I could have like started As Old as Time, because I was going to start last night. I fell into the trap of watching another Disney vlog. And I ended up not reading this last night. So I am going to start it now, even though it is like 5:30 p.m. Well, actually, first I'll have tea and then I'll start this. I'll have a nice little cozy night and maybe finish this off tomorrow morning. And then we've got Emboss or Toss, Mission Impossible sorted. But As Old as Time is based on Beauty and the Beast. And this one asks the question, what if Belle's mother cursed the Beast? So in this, we have Belle's mother, who Belle thought she would never ever see again. She ends up getting images of the person who cursed the beast, you know, the enchantress from the very start. The one who, you know, the beast as a prince cast her out and didn't want to look at her. He found her ugly. And then the enchantress turned into this beautiful woman and she cursed the beast and all of the inhabitants of the castle. And what if that happened to have been Belle's mother? So yeah, that sounds like a really interesting idea. And a lot of the Disney Twisted Tales are interesting ideas, almost like a Disney what if. And that just excites me so much. So yeah, I'm so excited to start it. I have read 2 other Disney Twisted Tales, but this was back in like 2020. I've read Mirror Mirror and I've read Reflection. And Mirror Mirror is a Snow White one and Reflection is the Mulan one. And I enjoyed both actually, from what I remember. So again, I don't know why it's taken me so long to get back into Disney Twisted Tales. But if you've read any, please let me know down below if you have a favorite and what that favorite would be. I feel like I'm sure I said this like 5 years ago, I would love to do a Disney Twisted Tales reading vlog. But yeah, it just hasn't happened. But who knows, maybe I will end up doing a Disney Twisted Tales reading vlog at some point, like with your recommendations. I do own quite a bit I would love to get through first. But yeah, just let me know if you have any favorites. But yeah, it's time to eat and I'm starving. I can't wait. Good morning again. This will be the last morning of Emboss or Toss because I am currently 136 pages into As Old as Time. So I will definitely get it finished today. It is still quite early. I'm having my second coffee of the day. And so far, so good. I will say though, it's been feeling a little bit too repetitive of the movie. So there hasn't really been a divergence just yet. You know, the summary that I told you about with Belle having visions of her mother being the enchantress that cursed the beast. Well, that hasn't really happened just yet, but the chapters have been kind of split. So one chapter is following the plot of the movie so far. I am now up to the part where Belle hasn't quite gone to the West Wing, but she's been warned about it. So I do think we're finally going to diverge from the movie. And then the other chapters, so like every other chapter, is Maurice and Rosalind and their life together before Belle was born, like while Belle was born, and all of that good stuff. So it has been a little bit interesting the way that this has been formatted. Mainly because like it doesn't really tell you, you know, like in the chapter title or anything like that, that it is the Maurice chapter or the Belle chapter. It's just like one after the other. So it's Belle and then Maurice and then Belle and then Maurice and then Belle and then Maurice. So I'm not 100% sure I kind of like that formatting because it has been feeling just a little bit too jaunty. And yeah, I wouldn't say like this has been like retelling the Beauty and the Beast movie. It's been repeating the Beauty and the Beast movie. So I don't know if I fully love that. Like I'm not really getting any like new insights into like Belle, you know, at the start of the movie leading up to now. So I do kind of wish that things were just maybe tweaked a little bit, or at least just given a little bit more insight. I know we have to kind of follow the movie to a T as much as possible so that it's coming across as like it could happen. It could happen within the context of the movie. But, you know, it's just like reading the dialogue and stuff. I'm just like, okay, I'm picturing the movie 100%, which is good, but 136 pages in now. Like, come on. Like, it's a long time to just be repeating the movie. Not retelling the movie, repeating the movie. So I don't fully love that, but it is being finely written. You know, it's very serviceable. I'm getting, you know, the surface level feelings that Belle has while she is, you know, being trapped in the castle by the beast for the first time, when she saves her father from him. I'm getting like some surface level feelings and emotions from that. I don't think the writing is connecting too much to the character. I'm waiting for the penny to drop, really, but I am liking it though. Like, I do love being immersed in the world of Beauty and the Beast. I love the movie so much, like the animated movie, and I do quite like the remake. I'm gonna tell you right here and now, I do quite like the remake as well. The live action usually makes me cry towards the end, so I don't know what that says about me, but no, I like it. I do like the live action as well. Can't beat the original animated movie, and you know what? I might even end up watching the animated movie today. I do feel like once I've gotten this done and I don't have much left, and yeah, it's only like 10 a.m. right now, I feel like it's absolutely possible for me to be able to also watch the movie. I don't have really any other plans today, as I don't have any live shows. I'm not going to the gym today. So it really is just a chilled, relaxed day inside. Again, would have loved to have sat outside and read, but that ain't gonna happen. Oh, one of the things as well before I move on is I like how Rosalind is coming across as, aka the Enchantress, aka Belle's mother. Because, you know, when Belle is about to be born and she's being told, oh, Belle is going to be pure because she isn't going to have magic like you. And I felt a little bit bad for Rosalind, actually, because I'm like, are you trying to say that she is not pure, or like that she is not good because she has magic? Like, what is it about magic that taints the soul, that taints the person? So there is a little bit of prejudice there when it comes to people with magic and like enchantresses in general. So I do kind of like how that is being explored. And the parts with Maurice and Rosalind are definitely a little bit more interesting than just reading the movie. And maybe these chapters will collide, maybe they will intersect, so that the whole one chapter is Belle, the next is Maurice, and then Belle Maurice. Maybe that will make sense in a few chapters' time. But I'm keeping out hope. I am. I'm not writing this off just yet. I just can't believe it's taken me this long to bloody read it. And I really should have had a Beauty and the Beast mug while I was reading this, but I have a Frozen mug. I got it from Hong Kong Disneyland last year, and this is like from the world of Frozen, and I love it. It's one of my favorite mugs. But yeah, I don't have like a Beauty and the Beast one, so I can't really do that. So we're gonna have to deal with Frozen. It kind of matches though, if you ask me. The blue and the red, and the blue of the title, I think it matches. Oh my gosh, look what just came from Illumicrate. I did order the Jane Austen set, and I have read all of these already. I freaking love Jane Austen. I read all of Jane Austen about 4 years ago now, and as soon as Illumicrate announced the set, I knew exactly what I was going to do with it. I'm going to put it on the shelf with my Bridgerton books. You know, the beautiful Bridgerton set I got from Illumicrate like 4 years ago as well. Oh my god. I mean, I don't think they go in that order though, because there is like a gate on it. And I'm just like, how do I fix this? I imagine maybe that goes in the middle. Maybe that on that side. That on the other side. That on that side. No. Oh gosh. I'll have to figure out how to actually like sew and fix the sides there. But these are absolutely stunning. I am so happy I have these. And should I do a Jane Austen reread, which I'm so tempted by, I'm not going to lie, I do think these are the editions I will end up reading. So I need to rejig the shelf a little bit, but I know exactly where it's going. Anyway, I have finished As Old as Time by Liz Braswell, and I'm going to give this one a 3.5, and I will be embossing it. I've left the embosser downstairs, so I'm just going to have to quickly run down and grab it. I do apologize. I'll be right back. Okay, I'll grab my embosser, and yeah, I do think that this definitely improved after around about the 150-page mark. Once it started to carve its own story, it felt a lot better. And dare I say, I do think I actually prefer parts of the climax of this than I do the original movie. The original movie is amazing, but there are like maybe some plot holes and things that don't lead to a whole lot of excitement at the end, other than like the whole Beast and Gaston fight and stuff like that. But like this had a lot more layers. I actually think I prefer Beast's character progression in this book as well. I mean, he does have a good character arc in the movie, but in this, he does have to like swallow his pride. He does have to, there's a really good scene where he has to like beg. And I think that was like really well done, and it definitely felt very natural to his character coming up to this moment, and it felt like a lot was leading up to it and a lot was hinging on that, especially with the fact that we also have in the background that kind of plague that has, you know, terrorized people in the past and how that has kind of affected the kingdom. And I feel like the townspeople are used a little bit more in this also. You get a little bit more of their story, and I love the fact that the author of this just overused the word provincial like quite a lot. You know, Belle mentions it once in the movie, or maybe a couple of times in the movie. And oh my gosh, like that's all we ever hear about is like this provincial town, this provincial life. I'm like, come on, I get it. I also think maybe the live action was partly inspired by parts of this too. Just with some of the plot decisions in the live action movie. This came out first, right? This came out in 2016. The remake came out in 2017, I think. And yeah, there was definitely parts of, especially when it comes to the servants, parts of their story, like what happens to them. I feel like maybe the live action took some inspiration from this. I do. And I also love the duality of like villains and like what makes a villain. And when Belle questions her mother, she's like, oh, why couldn't my mother be, you know, good like a fairy godmother or just straight up evil like an evil witch? Like, why does she have to kind of like be in the middle? So we do have that grey area of like the decisions of the enchantress, as well as the fact that, yeah, the servants were innocent and yet they also had to suffer the same curse. And that was questioned. I like that. I just like the fact that we do have that idea that the littler people, or the people who were like serving others, are just as important and deserve their lives just as much. And there were parts of this that definitely would not have made a Disney film, absolutely, especially when we have, oh, I don't want to spoil it, but like there is scenes towards the end when, you know, like how Maurice is, or crazy old Maurice is at the asylum. We have like a little bit more embellishment there, and we see like a little bit more like torture in a way, like not exactly towards Maurice, but like to another character who I won't exactly say. And yeah, so that kind of stuff was like really dark. And there was also like a corpse at one point as well, which I feel like, I mean, it wasn't like described horrifically or anything, but I just feel like some of these things, I mean, then again, Disney films have been quite dark in the past. I always remember Tarzan and how the villain in Tarzan dies. And I always remember, like, say, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. That is, like, very dark as well. Freaking love that film. So yeah, there were definitely things that would have probably made a Disney film, but there were, at times, it felt, oh, maybe this was a little bit too dark for it. And that's what I loved. That's why I loved is when we diverged from the main plot of the film and it became its own thing. So I still enjoyed it. I'm giving it a 3.5. I will be embossing it, so I'm going to do that now. Those first like 150 pages, I was like, okay, I'm liking the insight into Maurice and Rosalind, but overall, like, I'm not saying anything too new or original. And then we finally did start to see that, like, literally about 3 chapters after my last update. All I had to do was finish part 1. But yes, I'm going to emboss this page, I think. So get it on. Forever in my collection, it has been embossed. So to wrap up Emboss or Toss episode 10, I know I didn't really read as many books as I kind of usually do for videos like this, where I'm just like reading a whole bunch. But to be fair though, I read a lot of pages. Okay, I read a whole lot of pages. This episode took me just as long to film as other episodes of Emboss or Toss. So The Red Winter by Cameron Sullivan, I have embossed. I gave it 5 stars. The Book of Fallen Leaves by A.S. Tamaki, I have DNF'd and I will be tossing it. Diabound by Sable Sorensen, I gave a 4 star and I have embossed. King Sorrow by Joe Hill, I've given a 4.5 star and I have embossed. And then As Old as Time by Liz Braswell, I have given a 3.5 and I have embossed. So only one of these books that I read in this vlog is getting tossed. And that is like really good for an episode of Emboss or Toss, I think. I think other than the sequels episode, I feel like this is probably like one of the best results of an Emboss or Toss episode where I've majorly kept the books I read. But overall, I've gotten 5 books off of my TBR, and that's always a win. If you have any ideas for future Emboss or Toss episodes, any themes, any kind of specific books or anything you would like to say, then do let me know down below. But having said that, that is the end of episode 10 of Emboss or Toss Mission Impossible. Do I feel like I've embossed the mission? Yes. Yes, I have. So please leave this video a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, use some channel high points as well in the first week of this video going up on your mobile app. If you have any high points left, that would be amazing. Please do leave all the comments down below as well. Let me know what you thought of any of these books yourself, what you thought of the video. I am all ears and I would love to chat to you down below. I want to give a huge thank you to my channel members for supporting my channel. If you'd like to join my channel membership, then the link is in the description box. I also still have a link to my Trover trip to South Africa in October 2027, link down below if you want to check it out. And hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye.